live, and today we are talking about India versus Australia and their
Lots to
playing
discuss.
11 in Brisbane. तो बहुत कुछ है बातें करने के लिए Jamie. After the high of yesterday, the way India drew the test match in
Yep.
Sydney, there is some bad news coming from Australia, and that is that Jasprit Bumrah is not going to be available for the fourth and the final test in Brisbane, and this is a huge blow. उस पे भी अभी there have been contrasting,
Doubt तो है.
contradictory reports. So, but in all probability, we know that that he was in pain in the third test in Sydney. So just waiting to figure that out. But yes, if Jasprit Bumrah is out, this is going to be a huge problem, Jamie.
बिल्कुल, because I mean no need to remind our viewers जो यहाँ पे हमें देख रहे हैं कि already
Yeah.
India were without Mohammad Shami, Umesh Yadav during the tour, Ishant Sharma and Bhuvneshwar Kumar before the tour, KL Rahul the batsman. So when you're already your top four fast bowlers are out and you have Jasprit Bumrah, keep in mind Mohammad Siraj, 2 test matches old, Navdeep Saini, his debut in Sydney.
Yeah.
So you're looking at potentially a threadbare attack. I mean, we're assuming in all probability that yes, Bumrah is out.
Yeah.
So Bumrah ki jagah kaun lega? The options are Shardul Thakur, who on his test debut in October 2018 bowled 10 deliveries before hobbling off
Yes.
injured. I know he's played one-day cricket and T20 cricket. You have T. Natarajan, who's played a handful of white ball games for India. Left armer, मैं समझ सकता हूँ कि टीम के साथ काफ़ी they will be considering strongly playing a left arm pacer. But do you want to hand a debut to someone when you've already just handed debuts to Siraj and Saini? That'll leave 3 very inexperienced fast bowlers. To me, logically लगता है कि शार्दुल ठाकुर आएंगे क्योंकि उनके पास हालांकि टेस्ट मैच एक्सपीरियंस बिल्कुल नहीं है, नेक्स्ट नथिंग, बट 200 फर्स्ट क्लास विकेट्स और ऊपर से 6 फर्स्ट क्लास 50s. हमने देखा कि पूरे इस टूर में इंडिया की टेल की जो वीकनेस है, दैट कपल्ड विद द फैक्ट दैट हाउ डॉगेडली अश्विन एंड बिहारी बैटेड, you really want someone like Shardul Thakur stepping up because of that batting experience and just the experience of playing so much first class cricket.
Correct. And now people have already started commenting. Thank you so much. There are some who are saying Saksham and Rohan, sir, big fan, Rohan. Saksham's also saying
Thank you,
Nattu
thank you.
or Shardul. बिल्कुल दोनों में there's going to be an option. There's going to be one of them who will play in the fourth test. But between Natarajan and Shardul, Jamie, one will be debuting and the other one, like you said, 10 बॉल खेले और उसके बाद he had hobbled off. तो आप ये देख रहे हो कि चलिए अगर नटराजन और शार्दुल में भी कंपैरिजन किया जाए तो शार्दुल मोर एक्सपीरियंस्ड इन दैट सेंस, फर्स्ट क्लास क्रिकेट 200 विकेट ले चुके हैं, हैंडी डाउन द ऑर्डर विद द बैट. तो शायद इंडियन टीम देखेगी ये बात भी कि दैट्स वन थिंग दे विल वांट टू डू, बिकॉज अगर आप बैट्समैन की बात करें तो वहाँ पे भी प्रॉब्लम आ जाती है आपके लिए. ऋषभ पंत इंजर्ड हैं, अगर वो खेलते हैं, अगर ऋषभ पंत विल प्ले, इफ ही इज टू प्ले इन द फोर्थ टेस्ट मैच, तो क्या वो बैट्समैन के बतौर खेलेंगे? कीपिंग तो शायद मुझे नहीं लगता है उस एल्बो के साथ उनकी हो पाएगी, जेमी. सो व्हाट देन विल बी द ऑप्शन? डू यू थिंक देन साहा कम्स इन टू कीप और आप पंत को एज अ बैट्समैन खिलाएं?
बहुत ही ट्रिकी सिचुएशन है क्योंकि पंत हमने देखा था कि यस, अश्विन ने कहा था चौथी डे के बाद कि पंत जरूर बैटिंग करने आएंगे और जडेजा अगर सिचुएशन आया तो वो भी करेंगे. But I think very few of us would have thought that Pant would have come out and played that 97, really a momentum changing 97. चलो, पेन किलर्स लिया, जो भी मेडिकल स्टाफ ने दिया पंत को, पंत ने एक बार वो किया, क्या वो दोबारा कर पाएंगे? एक होता है कहीं ना कहीं इनर रिजॉल्व को खींच के एक सेशन 1.5 सेशन बैटिंग करना. Very different from playing 5 days of a test match where you have to bat and keep. I do not see Pant keeping in this match. I think if he musters the strength and enough painkillers, you could see Pant come and bat. पर वो कीपिंग और बैटिंग बिल्कुल नहीं कर पाएंगे, तो इसका मतलब है कि आपको रिद्धिमान साहा को खिलाना पड़ेगा. We all know he's the far better keeper. We know that Pant has a bigger role to play as a batsman. So foreseeable that yes, exactly, Pant bats and Saha keeps, because you are 99% you're without Hanuma Vihari. So you need a batsman. सवाल ये कि क्या पंत फिर विहारी की जगह खेलेंगे और साहा कीपिंग करेंगे, या फिर आप मयंक अग्रवाल को लाएंगे और आप उनको मिडिल ऑर्डर में खिलाएंगे.
एक और बात ये हो जाती है अब कि देयर आर आल्सो रिपोर्ट्स कमिंग, जेमी, ऑफ हाउ मयंक अग्रवाल हैड गॉट इंजर्ड इन द नेट्स. तो
Yes.
उसके बाद अब क्या होगा? क्योंकि देयर आर सम कमेंट्स, पार्थ Thanks, Parth. He's saying, according to Boria Majumdar, Mayank got injured in the nets, and we've seen this report in in other news agencies and all. तो अगर वो
लेकिन
इंजर्ड हो जाते हैं, हाँ
सॉरी मैं को रोक रहा हूँ, मयंक को इंजरी लगी थी नेट्स में मेलबर्न में सिडनी आने से पहले, तो काफी समय हैज पास्ड. He so from what we've heard, he is okay to play. There's some reports of him waiting on a medical report, but all signs are that Mayank has been past fit because the injury was not sustained while batting in Sydney. It was in Melbourne. So just to clarify that, it looks like Mayank is set to play.
दूसरी बात आ जाती है कि अश्विन एंड हनुमा विहारी बोथ वर दे लेफ्ट एवरीथिंग आउट देयर ऑन द फील्ड, द वे दे बैटेड इन ट्राइंग टू सेव दैट टेस्ट मैच. तो अश्विन का आई डोंट नो आप लोगों ने अगर पढ़ा है कि नहीं, अश्विन की वाइफ ने भी ये ट्वीट किया था अबाउट हाउ शी सेड दैट ऑन द डे व्हेन ही वोक अप, एक तो उसकी एक रात पहले, कल जब मैच उन्होंने ड्रॉ करा विद हनुमा विहारी, एक रात पहले वो बिल्कुल उनका बैक हैड गिवन इन, बिल्कुल ट्वीक हो गया था उनका बैक, और वो बिल्कुल लेट नहीं पा रहे थे, बेंड नहीं कर पा रहे थे. सुबह उठे तब भी उनकी बहुत हालत खराब थी, फिर भी उन्होंने जाके वी सॉ व्हाट अश्विन डिड. तो पर अब ये बात हो जाती है कि बाय जनवरी 15th इज अश्विन गोइंग टू बी 100% फिट? If he's not 100% fit, then what? Hanuma Vihari hamstring, not a very, not a kind of an injury that gets okay like this.
तीन दिन में हैमस्ट्रिंग इंजरी क्लियर नहीं होगा, तो ये
Correct.
तो मान लो कि हनुमा विहारी नहीं
खेल रहे. तो अगर हनुमा विहारी नहीं खेल रहे
तो
हैं,
इसका मतलब है कि आपको एक मिडिल ऑर्डर बैट्समैन चाहिए. ऑप्शंस क्या है? या तो मयंक अग्रवाल आके मिडिल ऑर्डर में खेलते हैं 5 पे, या तो फिर पंत अगर पास हो गया, पंत खेलेगा और साहा. If पंत plays as a batsman, then your middle order problem is solved, because then Saha has to play as the keeper. So then your Vihari का जो gap है, that is countered by Saha coming in and playing, and Pant goes up like he did in the fourth innings on day 5.
तो ये बात हो जाती है. पर अगर अश्विन इंजर्ड है जेमी, फिर क्या? फिर तो बड़ी प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी. आपको कुलदीप यादव को खिलाना पड़ेगा. एक और चीज है कि वॉशिंगटन सुंदर वहां पर हैं, जो कि T20s के बाद वहां पर रुक गए जस्ट टू असिस्ट इन द नेट्स फॉर द इंडियन टीम. तो वॉशिंगटन सुंदर, आई मीन फॉर ऑल यू नो, एक तो ये चीज हो गई है अब इस सीरीज में कि हमने इतना कुछ थिंग्स दैट वी डिडंट एक्सपेक्ट वो सब देख लिया है कि आई वोंट बी सरप्राइज्ड come the day of come the day of Brisbane test, Washington Sundar finds himself in the team and is there.
वही है अभी. look, the fact that India have had to call on replacements from Mohammad Shami and Umesh Yadav from the extended pool of 30 players which they had taken, because they knew कि यार देखो ये unreal times है, COVID time पे आपको backup players ले जाने पड़ेंगे. So that is why they had extra players. They also have Karthik Tyagi was one of the net bowlers who's also stayed back. So yes, that's an option. We hope कि Ashwin जो है he pulls fit. We know his character. We know that he's fought through a lot. We've also seen in England a few years ago when he was not fit and he played. India made the wrong call of playing him in that Southampton Test match where he was not fit. So look, already आप reports थे कि इन्होंने बुमराह खेलेंगे अगर 50% fit. You don't want to take a risk, especially with senior players like Bumrah and Ashwin, playing them when 50% fit, because anything goes wrong, you lost them for weeks and months. You've got a huge tour a series against England coming up, a 4-test match thing. If Ashwin is not fit, your options are Kuldeep Yadav, who I have been saying for a long time. I think he should have played the Sydney test. If Ashwin, the spinner, is out, yes, like for like, you get a spinner in, but Kuldeep ki batting is not what Ashwin brings. So in that regards, if the uncapped Natarajan is around and available to be fit, it's not unthinkable that he is named a replacement in the next day or two, and then he comes into the fray. Lots of combination permutations.
एक और चीज जो बात लोग कर रहे थे अबाउट, एक ANI पे एक रिपोर्ट आई थी कि जसप्रीत बुमराह will play even if he is not 100% fit, and I think that is going to be a huge mistake, in my humble opinion, to play a Jasprit Bumrah who's not 100% fit. You have a long season ahead. England is coming here. You're playing test matches right after this series against England. तो आप जसप्रीत बुमराह, तो जैसे हम हमेशा बोलते हैं that he needs to be wrapped in a box of cotton wool. बिल्कुल उनको ऐसे रखना चाहिए, क्योंकि वो इतने ज़्यादा क्या कहेंगे, इतनी ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है इस टीम के लिए, then I feel like we shouldn't be playing जसप्रीत बुमराह if he's not 100% fit. दूसरी एक और चीज़ है कि शायद वॉशिंगटन सुंदर नहीं है, वो आ चुके हैं, जा चुके हैं। इतनी एक तो ये चीज़ है कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया में इस वक्त शायद भरत सुंदरेसन के अलावा वहाँ पे कोई इंडियन रिपोर्टर
भरत को
नहीं है।
पकड़ना पड़ेगा। हम बहुत ही जल्द ब्रिस्बेन टेस्ट से पहले हम भरत सुंदरेसन, जो कि he's done outstanding work for Crickbuzz as a journalist throughout the time, the 2.5 odd years that he's been in Australia, but especially during this tour, being the only Indian journalist there because he now lives in Australia. Hats off to him, and definitely just let our viewers know we're going to get Bharat Sundaresan on this video,
Correct.
on this channel
तो-
soon. But let's getting back to the thing.
नहीं,
Again,
पर एक चीज मैं करेक्ट कर लेती हूँ then. Let's just correct what we've said. That is, Washington Sundar अगर नहीं है तो fine. Now we know that he's not around. So that is one of the things that people were wondering whether he's there or not. I have just been told.
it's not yet been confirmed. They're competing report. We saw him in a picture after
We did see him in a picture.
the second test.
एक टीम के कोई तो फोटो था जो आया था सेकंड टेस्ट के बाद, एंड मैंने जेमी से पूछा ये वॉशिंगटन सुंदर यहाँ पे अभी क्या कर रहे हैं, तो वी थॉट दैट दैट वाज वन ऑफ द थिंग्स। और एक क्रिक इन्फो में भी एक रिपोर्ट थी जहाँ पे बोला गया था कि वॉशिंगटन सुंदर इज अवेलेबल। सो वी नॉट श्योर इफ ही इज अवेलेबल, देन टीम विल थिंक दैट वे, बट लेट्स जस्ट टॉक अबाउट द वंस वी नो हु आर फॉर श्योर देयर। तो
Correct.
उसके बाद तो ये बात
ऊपर से देखो, हमें पता है कि विहारी 99% will not play. Jadeja is out. He had a surgery in Sydney आज. He's tweeted a picture of it. He's now, I think, at least 2 test matches against England. Ravindra Jadeja नहीं खेलेंगे. Chiteshwar Pujara, we know that he batted through a finger injury during the Sydney test. Knowing him, knowing his grit and resolve,
Yeah.
he will pad up and play at Brisbane. बट ब्रिस्बेन दोस्तों, आपको याद दिला दूं कि 1988 से, मतलब ओवर 30 years नाउ, ऑस्ट्रेलियन टीम ब्रिस्बेन पे नहीं हारी है. वीव सीन वाचिंग क्रिकेट डाउन द years कितने सारे टूर्स, एनी टूर ऑफ एनी टीम गोइंग देयर, हाउ मेनी टेस्ट मैचेस हैव स्टार्टेड एज ब्रिस्बेन. इस साल ड्यू टू COVID-19 सिनेरियो, the final test of a series is at Brisbane, a venue which many Australian teams under Border and Waugh and Ponting and Clark, they welcome teams at the Gabba saying, आओ बेटे हमें यहाँ हार के दिखाओ. हो नहीं पाया है. At that ground, pace and bounce have succeeded. Do India want to go in with another fast bowler? Yes. कौन है? Are you going to fall to the lure of trying a left armer, or are you going to go for Shardul just on that experience? Natarajan is slightly nippier, so there's that added factor going for him. Plus, he's a left-hander. But then again, if Ashwin is not playing, the kind of bounce that Kuldeep could foreseeably get, and the fact that he's got 9 wickets in 2 tests against Australia.
Correct.
Considering how poorly some of the Australian batsmen have played spin, और फिर कुलदीप का record को याद रखते हुए, he also could be a potent force at the Gabba.
Hriday Patel is asking us any updates on Will Pucovski and Warner. So the report from Cricket Australia is that he has dislocated his shoulder, or they're calling it a very strange word. Let me tell you what that word is. They're saying it is, where is it? Shoulder subluxation.
Correct.
Subluxation, something.
Yeah.
What is this?
And
Jimmy?
it's also just been confirmed that he's out of the match. Bumrah and Pucovski are out.
Okay, so
In the ever-changing, ever rapid
चलिए,
world
तो
of online media.
पुकॉव्स्की का अब कंफर्म हो गया. Where have you seen this
I
that
saw
he's
on
been confirmed?
Twitter. I've seen
Because this is Cricket Australia
tweets, correct.
some time back
ये
was saying.
ये अभी का ये 2 मिनट
चलिए, तो
Anyways,
पुकॉव्स्की out
Australian
है.
team,
Warner is
Australian
also
team को भूल
feeling
जाओ.
like his groin injury is, he's a little nervous about it, but for now he's in the side. But who would have been thinking, Jamie, कि हम 4th टेस्ट में पहुंचते आपका अटैक रह जाएगा of your leader of the attack would be Mohammad Siraj, 2 test matches old. Navdeep Saini, 1 test. Shardul Thakur, 1 test. 10 balls.
You can't even count that a test because he left the field after 10 balls.
10 balls.
Injured.
And then you have Natarajan, who's going to be, if he plays, then making a debut. So I think इस वजह से ये जो draw किया है इंडिया ने, that gets even more important for them.
बिल्कुल.
Because आप already इतनी injuries से deal कर रहे थे, and you really had the walking wounded in that test match with Ashwin and Vihari.
लेकिन
with
आपको ये भी,
अच्छा, पुजारा के भी injury है.
हाँ, वो मैंने बोल दिया. Don't worry about that.
Correct.
He is a fighter. He'll make it through.
Correct.
But point ये है मियां कि अगर हम इस इंडियन टीम की बात करें, रहाणे की कप्तानसी के अंदर 36 ऑल आउट के बाद कुछ दिन बाद मेलबर्न जाके द फोर्ट्रेस ऑफ द एमजीजी वहां जाके उस ऑस्ट्रेलियन टीम वही ऑस्ट्रेलियन टीम को हराना और यहाँ पे 4 दिन के बाद बुरी स्थिति डे 5 पे ऐसी ड्रॉ को हासिल करना उसके बाद डिस्पाइट ऑल दिस इंजरीज द कॉन्फिडेंस द इनर रिजॉल्व विल बी हाई जो भी हो ये इंडियन टीम उनमें से नहीं है कि भाई हम हार मानेंगे
अच्छा मैं एक बात
व्हाटएवर टीम
डिड यू इन द वाइल्डेस्ट ऑफ योर ड्रीम्स इमेजिन कि कल ड्रॉ हो जाएगा?
नहीं मैंने कहा था मैंने इसी चैनल पे इसी वीडियो में मैंने कहा था कि दे नीड अ मिरेकल देयर इज ऑलवेज होप व्हेन यू यूज टर्म्स लाइक मिरेकल इट्स लाइक नो वन सॉ क्योंकि टारगेट 400 रन से ऊपर था इंजरी bowling attack थी वही स्टार कमिंस हेजलवुड लाइन you always knew the lion would have a role to play on the fifth day plus there was doubt over whether how much Rishabh Pant could bat would Jadeja bat how would Hanuma Vihari fare poor Hanuma Vihari the world against him batting for his place dropped a catch had a needless run out in the first innings at Sydney all these things stacked up you thought यार इंडिया का चांस नहीं हम जो इंडियन क्रिकेट प्रेमी हैं और व्यूअर्स हैं सारों से कितनी बार हमें डे 5 आखिरी दिन ओवरसीज टेस्ट में इंग्लैंड ऑस्ट्रेलिया न्यूजीलैंड साउथ अफ्रीका जहां भी हो वी सीन दिस टीम्स क्रम्बल तो इट I frankly did not see this happening. Hats off to the team, the way they pulled through. रहाणे दूसरे ओवर में आउट हुए थे उसके बाद पुजारा पंत विहारी अश्विन the way they pulled through. That's why I said yesterday this draw will taste and feel like a win for India.
There have been so many, if you go through Twitter and you see, there have been, there was one particular video, I don't know if you watched it, if you can go to my Twitter feed, you can see कि वहाँ पे एक छोटा सा BCCI ने वीडियो डाला है of Hanuma Vihari and Ashwin talking about what they were going through and that was such a wonderful video because उसमें Ashwin बता रहे थे कि what was going through between them, what was going through their minds and what they were talking about. उसमें हनुमा विहारी बात करते हैं that he was treating me like his own brother. मुझे बार बार बता रहे थे कि आप ऐसे करिए and it was such a lovely moment. I mean all said and done this team everybody's talked about how brilliant a draw it is but I think what makes it even more special is that this was without its top players that this was without Virat Kohli against all the odds it's just the resilience of human spirit in that sense that just stood out for me and वही एक हनुमा विहारी और जैसे उन्होंने इस पूरी चीज को जेमी the way they interacted with each other the way they helped each other the way they told each other come on you can do it एक और आर्टिकल में पढ़ रही थी जहाँ पे ऋषभ पंत कह रहे थे खुद को कि come on ऋषभ you can do it अपने आप को you can bat despite उनका जो elbow में लगी हुई थी I think all these things have made this draw this test match so special for us as journalists and people who watch cricket
and that kind of inner resolve that kind of sheer doggedness these adjectives we've been using since this fantastic draw was sealed all these will once again be put to test when the team lands in Brisbane और फिर उस वेन्यू पे जहाँ पे जैसे मैंने कहा था ऑस्ट्रेलिया 1988 से कोई मैच हारी नहीं वहाँ पे where India have suffered some crushing losses against pace there this team has been stretched literally to the maximum आपके पास बैटिंग ऑप्शंस क्या है मयंक अग्रवाल पृथ्वी शॉ उसके आगे और कोई नहीं है आपके पास अनकैप्ड टी नटराजन है और शार्दुल ठाकुर like we said who's only bowled 10 balls in 10 cricket they literally to use a cliche have their backs against the wall Maya so it's going to be fascinating to watch कि ये टीम रहाणे रवि शास्त्री भरत अरुण टीम मैनेजमेंट किस 11 को चुनती है वो जो चुनी हुई 11 है वो क्या करती है फील्ड पे but like we said we cannot expect this team to cower down जो भी है they'll give it their best they may lose they may get smashed they may win who knows हम यहाँ बैठे बैठे घर पे कुछ नहीं कह सकते about what will happen but जो भी है a fantastic series decider has been set up due to India's grit in Sydney
बहुत चीटर स्मिथ सक्षम स्टॉप इट
हाँ नहीं सक्षम हमने देखा आपने 10 बार
बोल दिया इट वाज नॉट राइट एंड यू हैड सम फॉर्मर क्रिकेटर्स टॉक अबाउट इट माइकल वॉन ने बोला है दिस इज टेरिबल दिस शुडंट बी डन क्या हुआ है स्टीव स्मिथ को एक बार इतनी मुश्किल से वो निकले हुए हैं सच अ गुड बैट्समैन जस्ट प्ले योर गेम व्हाई डू यू थिंक दिस इज हैपनिंग जिमी व्हाई डू यू थिंक ऑजीज डू दिस
यार एक तो इनके it's in their cricket DNA to push the boundaries to go for it all which is why we saw Tim Payne आखिरी दिन में जब मैच उनके हाथ से उनकी टीम के हाथ से literally because he dropped 3 catches हाथ से निकलता गया that's when they resorted to certain tactics yapping more look Steve Smith ने जो कि it was wrong, scuffing the pitch is frowned upon. पता नहीं आज के ज़माने में जब 40 कैमरे आपके ऊपर है, कौन बेवकूफ़ी जाके करेगा.
जब एक बार पकड़े जा चुके हो तो प्लीज
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
just
हो गया, हो
stop
गया.
with your shenanigans.
हो गया.
Just go play your cricket. You've just scored a wonderful 100. आपको उसके
Man-
लिए
man
मैन
of
ऑफ
the
द मैच
match.
मिला है, जो कि
Again,
अगेन
another-
डिबेटेबल है. हम लोग यहाँ पे बैठ के यही बात कर रहे थे जब लास्ट के 2-3 ओवर्स बचे थे. आई आस्क्ड जेमी, आई सेड मैन ऑफ द मैच किसे देंगे. तो हमारी डिबेट चल रही थी बिटवीन पंत, पुजारा, ऑफ कोर्स हनुमा विहारी, अश्विन, किसको मिलेगा किसको मिलेगा. And in the end, we were like, दो लोगों को मिलना चाहिए. एक तो the whole cricket team, Indian cricket team, because they were batting and they played so well. और दूसरा नितिन पटेल को, जो कि सभी बोल रहे थे because of how he had been kept busy, और उन जितना spray pain, this thing spray that he must have done and whatever he had done with the players, that was incredible.
Sorry,
But
मैं रोकूंगा आपको. यहाँ पे कुछ कमेंट्स कह रहे हैं, वो हमें बता रहे हैं कि हाँ टिंकू जिया बुमराह इंजर्ड. भाई मैंने कहा था, अगर आपने वीडियो देखा शुरू से, मैंने 2 बार कहा था कि बुमराह रूल्ड आउट है. तो हमें बिल्कुल पता है कि बुमराह ये मैच नहीं खेलेंगे. यस एग्जैक्टली, शेख इमरान शार्दुल शुड बी एन आइडियल चॉइस बिकॉज ही कैन बैट. बिल्कुल जैसे कि मैंने कहा था कुछ समय पहले, 6 फर्स्ट क्लास 50s हैं शार्दुल ठाकुर के साथ. आई थिंक दैट माइट बी the factor that tips the balance in his favor.
Okay. Sampark is saying, I'm surprised how people criticize Pujara for his slow game, but it is his holding up one side which gives others opportunity to play around. We all respect Dravid, don't we, for doing that for so long. Sampark, you have no idea. Jamie, though, he has gotten into solid arguments on Twitter and on WhatsApp with other fellow journalists and people who've just been talking about how पुजारा को बेटर बैट, ही शुड हैव शोन इंटेंट, वो जो एक इंटेंट वर्ड है. जेमी, यू वांट टू टेक दिस?
मैं बहुत इस पे मैंने वीडियो किया, आर्टिकल लिखा, ट्वीट किया. मैं यही कहूंगा कि अब पुजारा के अगर आप लैक ऑफ इंटेंट को निकाल दें तो वो मैच डे 5 तक जाता नहीं. तो let's just keep that aside. Laughter Express is saying, Pain don't think he will survive till Ashes. क्या लगता है अगर ये सीरीज जीत गए ऑस्ट्रेलिया टिम पेन के अंदर, तो आई थिंक he will last. If they lose, and he keeps dropping catches, then maybe. But anyways, we're here to talk about more about India's injury and likely 11 more than the Australian team.
Yeah, but I think just to add to what Sampark was saying about Pujara, after this test match, after the way India batted in this, I think people will not, or actually short-term memory hoti hai वैसे लोगों की, but I don't think people will look at it the same way because of what we have, what we've seen Pujara do in this test match. तो शायद लोग समझ जाएंगे कि भाई पुजारा भी बहुत ज़रूरी है इस टीम में. जितने ज़रूरी विराट कोहली है इस टीम में, उतने ही ज़रूरी पुजारा भी हैं इस टीम में, उतने ही ज़रूरी अजिंक्य रहाणे. काट तो फिर से काटो. नहीं आप काटो, मुझे बोलने ही नहीं दे.
मैं कह रहा हूँ, हमने पुजारा पे हमने बहुत बात की पिछले 2 वीडियोस में. तो लेट्स गेट इनटू द मोर प्रेसिंग थिंग्स. एक ही चीज मैं कहूंगा पुजारा के एंड पे, अगर आपने देखा था कि
नहीं प्रेसिंग थिंग्स पे बोलिए,
इनकी करियर जब भी वो 50 क्रॉस करते तो उनकी कन्वर्जन रेट अच्छी होती है एंड द स्ट्राइक रेट इंप्रूव्स. द स्ट्राइक रेट इन द सेकंड इनिंग्स व्हेन पुजारा गॉट फ्रॉम 50 to 77, द स्ट्राइक रेट वेंट फ्रॉम 28 to nearly 38. दैट इज इनफ प्रूफ that Pujara, once he crosses 50s, the strike rate does improve and he ends up with 100 when the strike rate is much better. But enough, Pujara is a great test player. You need him. End of discussion about Pujara. Back to the questions. Himanshu Gupta, even though Brisbane favors Pacers, they could go for Kuldeep considering his record and X factor he brings with his Chinaman. Exactly what we were discussing earlier. 9 wickets in 2 tests against Australia, gets bounced, can trouble them. The question is, अगर अश्विन फिट हैं तो क्या आप अश्विन और कुलदीप को खिलाओगे? क्योंकि देखो जडेजा नहीं है, तो टू काउंटर जडेजा यू आर प्रोबब्ली ऑलरेडी प्लेइंग ऋषभ पंत, रिद्धिमान साहा as keeper. So if you have Pant the batsman, Saha the keeper, then there's no space for Kuldeep, Ashwin, and then 3 fast bowlers. So a tricky selection. I think in this case, probably, as much as I'd love to see Kuldeep, they might go for the extra pacer. बताइए. Divi Raval, I haven't watched cricket for months. Boards, sir, फिर है पर here because I love you both.
Thank you, Divi.
Thank you. Laughter Express. Gauri Shankar, can Manish Pandey be called? No one can be called now because there's a 2-week quarantine period. तो कोई भी प्लेयर उस पूल ऑफ 30 के बाहर से टीम में नहीं आ सकता अगले 3 दिन में.
Are you serious? Destructive Era. R. Ashwin is live on his YouTube channel.
Ashwin is a great YouTube host. हो सकता है, आप चेक करिए. मैं कुछ सवाल लेता हूँ. Creature life. People are talking about the performance of Pujara, Rishabh, Bihari, Ashwin, but they should also appreciate the opening pair of Rohit and Gill, where they lasted for around 25 overs in both innings. Absolutely, the fact that Rohit and Gill blunted the attack for that long.
He's going to be live at 2 o'clock.
As we discussed, was a great thing. Unfortunately, Rohit got out after that stand. But yes, a lot of pluses there. We have one Bhardwaj ultrasound is saying big fan, ma'am.
That is my brother who's saying that. I'm a big fan of yours as well. If Mayank comes in, does he open with Rohit and Gill at 4? Hriday, I mean, Jamie has a different opinion on it, but I feel like Mayank should play where Hanuma Vihari, he's coming in place of Hanuma Vihari, he should go down the order. Don't mess with Rohit and Gill. I don't know. That's just
No,
me.
absolutely. It would be tempting, but again, Mayank ने कभी middle order में नहीं खेला. रोहित ने 25 और टेस्ट मैच खेले मिडिल ऑर्डर, तो चांस है कि वहाँ पे वो खेले. बट वेरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग कॉम्बिनेशंस. अब तो रवि शास्त्री को पौवा पिला के खिलाना पड़ेगा. अरे भाई क्या मजाक कर रहे हो.
Can Ravi Shastri open with Rohit? No, Saksham. I think
he's looking like Prithvi Shaw as an option.
Yeah. Okay. So is that all, Jamie, or should we continue with this?
Questions रुक गए हैं, I think. A lot of them are repeated. So, Laughter Express, is Natarajan good option because he hasn't played many Ranji games? Can he give 25 overs a day? Don't have the answer. Yes, of course, he's not played a lot of as much first-class cricket as other players, but he's impressed, in the IPL, and he's impressed with the white ball cricket. So on that basis, you have to say that there is definitely talent there. But again, would you require him to bowl 25 in a day? Maybe now with the team in the situation, yes. I think the fact that he's a left armer, that lure to play a left armer, which is so rare aajkal, from the days of Irfan Pathan and RP Singh and Zahir Khan, in and out. Now we've not had a capable left arm pacer in tests especially. So, but again, जैसा हमने कहा था, सिराज 2 टेस्ट, सैनी 1 टेस्ट और अनकैप्ड नटराजन, मुश्किल है. पल पल ना माने टिंकू जी. नहीं भाई, ये वो वाला शो नहीं है. Game changer. There are so many international cricketers, all Indian, Dravid, etc. are injured on this due to no practice. Yes, I think the fact that players like Bihari and Pujara didn't play the IPL, they had so many more months of not playing competitive cricket as compared to the other players in the squad. So that was definitely a factor in them also not getting runs. Yep. Gabba test will be rained out. This series ending on day 1. पता नहीं, मैंने forecast check तो नहीं किया, but लगता नहीं है कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया में कोई भी मैच 5 दिन में wash out होगा दोस्त. चलिए, let's wrap up this live. We will be here all throughout the Brisbane test, previewing, reviewing, and then of course wrapping up the series. We have some experienced Indian journalists who will be making appearances on our YouTube channel in the next coming days, and then some other special guests lined up for you. Stay tuned for our preview from Brisbane. For now, goodbye.
Jai Hind.